Hi everyone, so in this video we're going to take a look at whether reducing social distancing to 1 metre will make any difference to driving lessons or driving tests. I'm also going to tell you a little tip about cars that not a lot of people seem to realise, and I've got some positive suggestions as to how we can get driving lessons back on the road. So here I am with my tape measure, and I'm going to measure the distance between me as the instructor to the pupil sitting there. It doesn't matter if we're sitting the other way around, it's the same thing. Now, I don't know exactly how they're going to measure this, but first of all, let's measure it. I'm doing it a few different ways. Let's do it shoulder to shoulder, because if you're talking about the distance away from someone that you are, well, the total distance is really from there to there is about 20 centimetres. So no, reducing it to 1 metre is not going to make a difference in that respect, because you're still only 20 centimetres away. Let's do it kind of middle of my body to middle of their body would be 70 centimetres, or mouth to mouth would be 60 centimetres. So unfortunately, however you look at it, 1 metre is not going to be enough. And if you don't know about this, it's said, I'm making this video on June the 22nd, 2020, it's said that tomorrow, on June the 23rd, which should be tomorrow, because that's tomorrow, tomorrow on June the 23rd, 2020, the government are said to be announcing a relaxation of the social distancing to 1 metre. So in that respect, it won't make any difference. And this brings me on to the point which I was saying about a lot of people don't realise. This is something I have a little tip that I've given many pupils when they learn to drive with me, especially when we do parallel parking. A lot of people have this fear of driving bigger cars, because I know some people are saying, some people are thinking, you've probably already written in the comments about, but my instructor's got a bigger car. Well, did you realise that bigger cars are not actually that much wider? They may be longer and taller, but when you do parallel parking and you've got a car in front of you, you'd be surprised how little difference there is. Now, I'm in a Ford Fiesta. This is a 2018 Ford Fiesta. I've looked at the width of this car, and it was, I think, 1175 millimetres. I then looked at the width of a family car like a Mondeo, something that kind of size, and you'd be surprised that a Mondeo is only 10 centimetres wider than a Fiesta. And even if you do lessons in a large people carrier or 4x4, they in total are only that much wider than a Fiesta. Did you realise that? It's funny how a lot of people seem to think that these wider cars are like that much wider. They're not. A bigger car is not that much bigger in terms of width. So there you go. If you say that I'm here, the pupil's there, or the other way around, 60 centimetres. Even if you add on another 20 to be in a bigger car, that's still only 80. And if you don't know, a metre is 100 centimetres. So unfortunately, we're not a metre away from each other. So it looks as though driving won't be returning while social distancing is a thing. However, there is hope. Now, it has been said that sitting side by side in a car is, well, sitting side by side with anyone, anywhere, is not as bad as being face to face. So imagine if people is sitting here where the steering wheel is, which I hope there wouldn't be, because that would be strange. But if people were sitting there talking face to face, that would be a bit more problematic. But it has been suggested that if we sit facing ahead and you have an agreement with the pupil not to turn and look at each other, you can still move your eyes like that. But to only speak ahead and to only speak facing that way, all of the, what they call the cloud, the spit and whatever, which I must admit I can't feel if I'm doing that. You can feel like the force of the air coming out. But if I'm talking like this and the pupil is there, or the other way around, because it normally be the other way around, if we're talking looking forwards and we're not looking at each other, this apparently massively reduces the chance of infection. What you can also do is put the windows down. That can be very annoying though, because it does get very loud in a car with the windows down. that does raise possible safety concerns. There are times, for example, when you're driving on high-speed dual carriageways, you really don't want to have the windows open. You'd be screaming at each other, and if you're having to shout that loud, you'd be kind of spitting all over each other. So maybe, I don't know, have the back windows down a bit, or the front windows down a bit, maybe not all the way. These are things that are being suggested. I did see one instructor make a suggestion I really don't understand. They said that they've been getting around the problem by sitting further away from pupils than normal. I mean, how much further away can you sit? If I sit here or there, I mean, what difference is there? There's 20 centimetres, so maybe if I agree to have my head pushed up against that window and you drive with your face up against this window with the window down, sucking in clean air, not turning and facing me, maybe that's the way around lessons. I'd like to point out a few other suggestions people have made on my channel. People have suggested having a big plastic sheet down the middle of the car. Not going to happen. That is a health and safety nightmare. Can you imagine having a crash and saying, well, I was going to go for the wheel, but I'd put this huge sheet of plastic down the middle of my car so I couldn't reach it. It would also break the terms of the lease, because this car is leased. You can't just do things to it. This isn't my car. I don't buy these cars. It's just like a hire car, and we have a new one every however long, every 18 months, 2 years, whatever it is. Another suggestion someone made, whether this was serious or not, I don't know, was that I should install a steering wheel on that side of the car and have a radio system, so I could put a sheet of metal down the middle and have a steering wheel there with my own gear stick and a button so I could talk to the people through a radio. Something tells me that's not going to happen, but if you've got any sensible suggestions as to how driving lessons and tests could go ahead, please leave them in the comments. So check out the other videos on the screen now. Let me know your thoughts on social distancing. And as always, I'll see you again soon for more videos.